I always want to get good use on all of my palettes throughout the year. However, as my collection grows, it becomes increasingly harder to do that. And today I want to talk about some of the eyeshadow palettes that I've barely touched, if even touched once this year, which is just awful. I don't like doing that. But this look is actually a get ready with me from a few weeks back. I am starting to pre-film in December just because I would like a Christmas break. I think we can all agree Christmas breaks are pretty good. But this look is done with neglected products, and I will be talking about the palettes that I've used on my eyes today in this video as well. But just before we do jump into the video, if you have not already, definitely like and subscribe. I always start saying I'm trying to hit 5k by the end of the year, but we've smashed it. We've absolutely hit that goal. So let's see how far we can get towards the end of the year. I'm so excited, so grateful. I do upload every single day here on my channel, and getting closer to Christmas, I'm so excited because every day is Vlogmas here on my channel, but it is officially Vlogmas when you're seeing this. Some of these products might not have been used for any particular reason. Maybe I'm just not gravitating towards it. Maybe it's a palette that I just don't really use much. There are so many reasons that I do not reach for these palettes, but I'm going to talk you through all of them today, starting with palette number 1. This is the Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette, and you know what? Now that it's Christmas season, I think I am actually going to use this a hell of a lot more, but right now, since the start of the year, I don't think I've used this once. I'm so sad because this is such a gorgeous palette. This is like such a me color story. I could have done this look with this palette. It's got those greens, the yellow, and the shimmers. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. I want this to be in my everyday makeup drawer this month. I was gonna have it in last month. However, I thought, you know what, Christmas Eve, I can't have it in November. And maybe that's part of the mental block that I have with this palette. Because it is Christmas Eve themed, I kind of don't want to bring it out in the middle of summer because it just doesn't really make much sense. But it is officially time to pull this out. I'm so excited to play with it. I guarantee there's going to be a get ready with me with this palette very, very soon. It's one of those palettes, even though it came out years ago, it still stands the test of time. I still absolutely adore this. The quality of this is absolutely stunning. I smile every time I see this because it is genuinely gorgeous. This shade, Gorgeous, is just that. It's one of those like multi-chrome blue, purple, yellow kind of shades. It is just so intense, so stunning, so pretty. And of course, you guys know I love blue eyeshadow. This is one of my favorite color stories. It's grungy, it's blue, it's winter, it's festive. I'm so excited to pull this out, but unfortunately, throughout the whole year, I have not used it, which is so annoying. But I do think that it is that like winter Christmas Eve block. But I've got to pull it out. I have to pull it out right now because it would be criminal to not use this over Christmas. I don't know, do you find that with like themed palettes, whether it be like Valentine's Day or Easter or New Year or whatever it may be, do you find that you have a little bit of a mental block with it throughout the rest of the year? I find that whenever I get a themed palette, I don't really want to bring it out in other times of the year, because it just doesn't make sense to me and my brain, even though it is stunning. But if I do not use this, shout at me. I need to use this. Next is a palette that was in the running for Pan That Palette quite a few years on the run, and it always loses out, and because of that, it always gets neglected. This is my Nabla Cutie Platinum palette, and it is a very, very neutral palette. It's very gorgeous. It is just so neglected because it is always overshadowed by Pan That Palette. Because my Pan That Palette is always a neutral palette, it kind of clashes with this every single year, and I honestly don't think I've used this at all this year, which is so unfortunate because the quality of this is gorgeous. I have done a get ready with me, like I said, using neglected products from the year, and I really wanted to use this, but again, it just lost out. Whenever I pull this out to try and use it, it always just loses out to something else. But I really need to actually use this. You know, actually using your products, who'd have thought? I do have a declutter series coming very soon, but even though this always loses out, I cannot find it in myself to declutter it. I don't know what it is. It's like a mental block. It's one of those palettes I don't use. I've not used this for probably like 2 years, but I just can't get rid of it. I can't let it go because the quality is stunning. I always swatch this shade. It is... oh my gosh, look at that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? The quality is beautiful, and I know Nabla did do a blue palette similar to this, and I was so tempted to buy that palette. You have no idea, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I don't give this the love that it deserves anyway, so why would I buy another Nabla palette when this is just sitting gathering dust? I think it's really, really pretty. I would love this as a pan that palette, but again, it just keeps missing out to other things. No fault of its own. There's just other things I think would be better for panning all year round. Right now, I'm doing That's Taupe, which is a very similar color story. There are, of course, some differences, but similar vibes, you know? And it's just a real shame that this is never used. I just don't understand it. But I'm really hoping that I can put a Get Ready With Me aside, just one Get Ready With Me, to do a look with this because it is stunning. I love it. I always love the looks that I create with this, but it's just not winning right now. Next, I have 2 palettes that I'm kind of going to talk about as one. And if you are not new to my channel, you will definitely know the struggle that I've had with these 2. These are the Natasha Denona Mini Star and Mini Trio Chrome palettes. And I had such high hopes for these, and they were smashed into a billion pieces. So these 2, I bought this when I first went to Seville, so it does have some happy memories. I had to replace this blue because it was just really bad quality. I ended up replacing it with an indie duochrome to make it a little bit more bearable. And then I have been waiting for Natasha Denona to come out with some color, some fun, something that I would just be so excited about. I'm not a neutral girl. So when this came out, I was so excited, but the quality just isn't there. But again, can I get rid of these? No. These were also in the running to be pan that palette. I was going to do them side by side because I love neutrals with a pop of blue, and a lot of you guys were saying, please do not do that. So I'm going to listen to you guys and I'm going to not do that. You guys know that this would end up being Hate Pan Central. This would just be me complaining in January. January 2nd would come along and I'd be like, you know what? I actually don't like these. So you guys were right. I am not panning these 2. Maybe if I can get to know them a little bit more, I think this would be a really nice pan that palette just on its own, just because I have now replaced the shade that annoyed me so much. I do actually like it now, and these kind of neutral shades are really, really easy to pan and to use. So I think this would be a nice one. But this, I don't know. I've got to get rid of them somehow though, because I can't declutter them. So I don't know what's going to happen with these in the future, but I've not used them. I've used this quite a few times just for like liner. So maybe this shouldn't be in this video now thinking about it, because these 2 I have hit pan on, but it was not a fun experience. So maybe I should just have this one in this video. I don't know what is going on with my brain right now. This one has definitely not been used. I think I've used it once and I forced myself to use it because it was in an everyday makeup drawer and I forced myself to use this. I did quite like it, I'm not gonna lie, but there's just this mental block with it where I just can't use it because I hold a lot of resentment for this. Next, I have a palette that I also hold a fair bit of resentment for, I'm not even gonna lie. This is my Lethal Custom palette, and I got this years ago. I have been told that Lethal have improved their quality since. However, the quality of this, I just don't find is worth it. I have used this once in a video that was called My Most Expensive Makeup, full face, testing it all out. Is it worth the money? This was over £80. Why? Why did I do that? I don't know. But this was over £80 for this custom palette, and it was not worth it in the slightest. These are marketed as duochromes. They're not. They're really thick. I don't like that thick formula. I like it when duochromes are piecey and sparkly and light. These are just like dense, and it makes me not like them very much, especially with that price tag as well. Like, oof. The color story, I mean, I made it, so I of course love the color story, but there is a part of me that is like, I paid so much for this and I got barely anything back in return. I feel like this was a bit of a hit in the wallet for me because, I mean, the quality is just not the best. There are some nice shades, but like these aren't duochromes. These are just normal shimmers. There is like no duochrome in here. And I was really expecting indie goodness, indie shimmery, flippy, duochromy amazingness. It just was not that. So I think the reason I don't reach for this is simply because I am disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just very disappointed. But you guys have told me that Lethal has upped their quality since I got this. I did get this years and years and years ago, so I don't know, I am a little bit scared of retrying Lethal, but who knows, maybe 2025 will be the year that I give it a go again. But for right now, this, I feel like it's mocking me. I feel like it is. And obviously I don't want to use a palette that is sat here mocking me. So let's move on because that makes me a bit sad and a bit angry. So the final two palettes are the palettes that I'm wearing on my eyes today. So I have used them once. Wow, whoop-de-doo. So let's first talk about the Aha Honey palette from Colourpop. This is a palette I said in my Get Ready With Me. It's very much a companion palette. I really, really like these deep, smoky eyeshadow looks. And of course, you're not getting that with this palette. I'm really glad that I did use it today. I feel like a pop of yellow is always so much fun, but I just never do it. I think yellow goes well with pretty much any color of the rainbow, so I need to use this more as a pop companion little palette because, I mean, look at this. I feel like Persephone a little bit. Like, this is what Persephone would wear. Like, nice springy kind of colors. But I do really enjoy the quality of this palette, but I think when I'm doing a Get Ready With Me and I pull out a palette that I'm going to use, I don't necessarily think about having a companion palette all that much, but this is so nice. These little pops of yellow, even this shade Buzzkill is a really nice, just one and done kind of matte look. It's not too yellow in your face. There's a nice mix of undertones as well. Even this like sweet spot would make a really nice inner corner for like a blue look. Oh, imagine that, like a smoky blue eye with that shade on the inner corner. Stop it right now. I just think it's really, really nice. Yellow is such an underrated color, especially by me, because I know that it can go really, really well with so many different colors, but I just never do it. I never do it. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think I have so many different like look ideas in my head that I just don't do any of them, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It's like really flawed logic, but I want to use this more. I've used it one time in this look. I mean, stop it. Like, stop it. Can I get rid of it though? No. And that's the thing. Even if I don't use palettes, I still can't get rid of them. So this declutter series coming up is going to be very interesting because I'm surgically attached. I'm like emotionally and physically attached to eyeshadow palettes, and it's an issue. And the final palette that I have to talk to you guys about today is the Colourpop Just My Look. And of course, I am wearing this on my eyes as well today with the Aha Honey palette. Green is even less used by me than yellow. And I mean, look at this palette. I do have two pans in this palette, but they are from years ago. I love this shade Mary Jane. Like this shade as a pop, again, with like any other color, so stunning and beautiful. This inner corner of like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a look, like a purple look with this on the inner corner. Oh, stunning, gorgeous. But the rest of this palette, like these like true greens, I don't use like ever. And that's why I really tried to incorporate them in my look today, because I know I do not reach for these. This khaki I really do like, as well as this shimmery khaki. Really nice for like a smoky, grungy kind of day. But the rest of the shades, these like true saturated greens, I never, ever, ever reach for. And that is why, again, I forced myself to reach for them today, because I know if I would not have used them today, I would never have used them this year. I actually don't think I've used this at all other than today this year, which is really, really sad. I really need to find a good way of incorporating more of my palettes into my everyday makeup routine, because I feel like with project panning, it can get really easy to hyper focus on a collective few products and just have everything else neglected. I don't want to do that going forward. I want to have a good range of use on all of my palettes throughout the whole year. Let me know if you have any ideas of how I can do that, because I would love to hear those ideas. But here we go. I didn't want to go on about too many palettes because my voice really hurts. I'm still pretty sick right now, but it is Friday, so I get the weekend off to do some vocal rest. Well needed. Let me know down below, what is an eyeshadow palette that you have not used this year, or the palette that you have used the least this year? Dust it off, use it. I'm begging you, please do not do what I have done. But I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, of course, like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye bye.